Hi guys, welcome to the day 2 of the 5-day English Grammar Mastery Bootcamp. I'm so happy that you are here on day number 2. I hope yesterday's session was beautiful for you. It was amazing to build your level of confidence and remove all the mind blocks, isn't it? So now today we are going to understand some important things about understanding the foundation of English grammar. It's very simple to understand some important concepts, and it is very important to apply those concepts. So it is not only about understanding the knowledge and just keeping it in your mind, but it is very important that you should apply this knowledge in your life to get maximum benefit. So that is what we are going to understand. So first we will get the theoretical knowledge, and then we will understand that how we need to understand to apply the entire knowledge in your life so that you can easily understand these concepts of learning this thing and applying as well. So it is all about practical aspect of understanding this language. So welcome to the day 2, and let's start. It is very important for all of you to understand the basic statement pattern in English. If you do not understand the basic statement pattern, it will always confuse your mind that how I can start speaking, how I can begin the statement, how I can start constructing different sentences in my life according to different situations. So what is the basic statement pattern? It's very simple. It's subject plus verb plus object. We need subject to begin the statement. We need verb to say that something that is in present, past, or future, or any kind of activity. We need object to end the statement. So here is the example that John learns English. So John is subject, learns is verb, and English is object. Pretty simple. It's a very simple concept to understand. So we need to understand this thing very well, that whenever we speak in English, we need a subject to begin the statement, and we need object to end the statement. To make the statement meaningful, I also need the middle part, and that is nothing but the soul of the statement. That is called verb. Okay. Now, so you need to understand the concept in short: subject plus verb plus object. SVO. Simple thing. Let's go ahead. Now, when we talk about the subject, verb, object at that time, I split this middle part, that is verb, in little more detail so that you can have more clarity about constructing a statement. So how it is, let's try to understand. So what I have done, I have splitted main verb into two things. First, helping verb, second, main verb. Now this is modified structure that we can see here, that we take subject, we also take helping verb, we take main verb, and then object. What is the purpose of this thing here? Now, when we simply talk about subject, verb, object, then there is different thing. And when we talk about subject, then helping verb, then main verb, and then object, then there is different thing. How it is, let's try to understand this thing. So helping verb will always indicate time, and main verb will always indicate action in the statement. How? Let's try to understand one example. Sachin is eating an apple. Now, if you look closely in this example, you will be able to see that Amizar is used, is the helping verb. It is indicating that the tense is present tense. It's a time, it's a present time. And eating is the action that is continuous. So ultimately it is now present continuous. Now what happened most of the time, we do not create the sense of urgency to speak in English in our life. We always keep telling ourselves that I know that how to construct the statement, but I'm not able to speak. It's all about applying this knowledge in your life. If you are able to understand that what are the boys are doing, what are the children doing, if you simply get this particular question in your mind, you automatically get the solution. The boys are playing, the children are studying. Okay. And if you simply see someone in your home, at your office, or anywhere else, if you simply try to understand that what is distance, you will automatically get your thought process connected if you learn grammar properly. That is nothing but application of knowledge in your life about learning this specific language. Okay. Now let's try to understand these things in more detail to understand this concept properly. Now, there are always two types of verbs that you need to understand. Which are them? First, helping verb, and then main verb. What is the purpose of helping verb? We use helping verb to show tense. So ultimately, it shows tense. What is about the main verb? It shows action. We can indicate time in three ways: present, past, and future. So these are the three states. These are the three things related to time. And on the basis of time, we can also understand tenses: today, yesterday, tomorrow, present, past, and future. So the function of helping verb is to indicate the tense in a statement. So whenever you speak, you need to be very careful about this part. And next thing, what is the main verb? It shows action. So it can be simple It can be continuous, it can be perfect, and it can be perfect continuous. So perfect means any action that is completed. We will see lots of detail about all those things. And perfect continuous is nothing but the combination of perfect as well as continuous. The action which is completed and it is also going on. That is what we need to simply combine it. So two things are very important here that you need to understand. Two types of verbs. One is helping verb, another one is main verb. You simply need to understand that these are the important things that you need to understand here itself. Okay. Now, you need to make short notes of all those things that I'm telling you in this session. It is mandatory for all of you to scribble something, to make your own notes, because we need to create the sense of urgency. And the videos will be available for this week only, as it's a workshop, it's a boot camp, it is not an online course. So I'm keeping the videos for this week only. So it is mandatory for you to create the sense of urgency, watch the videos, and make your own short notes to understand this thing very, very well, to keep everything in your mind so that it will help you immediately. You will get the benefit quickly. That is the most essential thing is. Okay. So grab a pen and paper, grab a notebook, grab a notepad, and try to make your own short notes starting from the video. That is what very important thing is. Okay. Now, I hope you are clear about the types of verbs. Now, let's try to understand helping verb in lots of detail. Now, first helping verb is to be. When we talk about to be, most of the people see that, yes, sir, we know to be and to have, but that is the major concern, guys. You only know, but you do not know it completely. So now we will try to understand it in lots of detail. Now see, when we talk about this helping verb to be in present is am, is, are. To be in past is was and were. Now try to understand, it is not where. Most of the people make this mistake. They always say it is was, where. No, guys, it is completely wrong. The pronunciation is were. They were playing cricket. Always keep this thing in your mind. This is a quick tip that you need to understand. It is not where, it is were, was, were. Keep this thing in your mind. And in future, it is will be, right? So to be in present, am, is, are. To be in past, was, were. To be in future, will be. Now here is a quick tip. What you need to understand. Now this helping verb will act as a main verb in the statement to specify a meaning. How? See the examples. Sachin is a good student. Now here there is no action, but there is a state of the subject. Sachin is a good student. Second example, he was sad yesterday. When we talk about the state of subject in past, we talk about this particular was and were. We use was and were to indicate. I was happy yesterday. Anything that you want to say. And in future, Kiran will be a doctor. If there is a boy whose name is Kiran and he wants to become a doctor in his life, he will be a doctor one day. We simply say this particular thing. So am, is, are, was, were, and will be. These are the most useful structures that we use most of the time. Now try to understand. When you do not understand a subject, when you simply try to speak, there are two important things that you need to understand. There is and there are. There were, there was, there will be. Likewise. See, there is a simple thing that you need to keep in your mind. T-H-E-R-E. Make the spelling correct. T-H-E-R-E. There is something that we use most of the time in combination with this particular verb. When we simply say simple sentences. Now, most of the time when we talk about some general things or any specific thing at that time, we use this particular structure. So there are so many ways to improve your language. If you are writing, you must have understood this thing. Whenever you are writing your graduation examination or any specific examination, for example, if you want to describe something, you always use this structure, which is the, there are 4 types of this and that. There is something very important. You always use this kind of structures. So considering present, past, and future, you can use in present like there is, there are. Okay, there was, there were, and there will be. Whenever you feel stuck and you are not able to understand specific subject, this thing is very, very useful. This is all about understanding to be. So once again, a quick review. To be in present is am, is, are. To be in past is was, were, and to be in future is will be. Now, next, that is nothing but to have. Let's try to understand that one also. Now, to have is another important helping verb in English. Okay, we are going to make some combinations using this helping verb with the important types of the main verb, and which will indicate, which will form the different types of tenses, which will try to understand that how tenses are formed in English language. That is the most essential thing, is you are going to understand the formation of tenses in English grammar today itself. Now, whatever we have seen for to be, we will see similar kind of things for to have also. But whenever we will see this particular thing, there will be a little bit difference. Let's try to understand. Now, you need to understand one thing, that to have in present is has and have. Now, there are two different verbs, has and have. Now, you need to note it down one simple rule. You can simply note it down properly right now. When a subject is singular noun or the pronouns like he, she, and it, we use has. Whenever a subject is plural noun or pronouns like I, you, we, they, we will use have. This rule is applicable in simple present only. Singular subject, he, she, it, we will use has. Plural subject, I, you, we, they, we will use have. Simple rule to understand. I is exception. Even if it is singular, we will use have with it. Now, to have in past is had. All the time we use had, no confusion at all. And for future, we will use will have. Now, let's try to understand the importance of to have. Now, as we have seen, to be indicates the state of the subject. It may be in present, past, and future. When we talk about this have at that time, we understand a different thing. That helping verb to have indicates the possession of subject or ownership of the subject. Now, let's try to understand the example. Sachin has a nice car. So, Sachin is the subject. He has a car. That is the importance of to have. Now, he had a bike. He had a bike. So, it is in past. The possession goes in past. The ownership is indicated in past. And Kiran will have an opportunity. Now, there is a boy. He will have an opportunity. So, the action of possessing something will be in future. So, it's a simple thing that this is a helping verb to have, which indicates the possession or ownership of the subject. This is the most essential difference between to be and to have. A quick note to understand. To be indicates state of the subject. To have indicates possession or ownership of the subject. Okay. Now, let's try to put this information in your mind by keeping simple rules. So, grammar is all about understanding rules, isn't it? So, try to understand the same thing. Now, here are the formulae that you need to understand properly. First thing, which are this? First, we will use subject, as we have decided that we need a basic statement pattern. We need subject to begin the statement and object to end the statement. And in between there is verb. We need to use that part. So here I have used am, is, are, and then object. This is a mobile, most common statement. This, that, these, those. How do we use this, that, these, those? We use this. They are called demonstrative pronouns. Okay. We use this for what purpose? If anything that is close to you, and if that is singular quantity, we will say this. For example, this is a book. If I simply want to say that something that is at certain distance and it's a singular quantity, what I will say? That is a book. If I want to say that the quantity is more, it's a plural and it is close to me, I will say these are the books. And if there is something that is at certain distance and it is in more quantity, plural, we will say these are the books. So simple thing to understand, this, that, these, and those, which are useful things, which are useful demonstrative pronouns in these structures. So simple thing, subject plus am, is, are plus object, it will become a simple statement. Okay, and the example is here in front of you. This is a mobile. Now, second, subject plus was, were plus object. What I have done here, I have changed the middle part. Instead of am, is, are, I'm using was, were. Remember, it is were. Okay, was, were. I was sad. There may be any reason I was sad yesterday. I was not happy. Now, instead of am, is, are, if I'm using was, were, it will indicate the state of subject in past. Next thing, will be. Now, was, were is replaced by will be and it becomes a state of the subject in future. Sachin will be happy. I'm talking about the state of subject in future. Similar way, we will follow it for the to have helping verb. Now, here, has, have plus object. As I have told you, there is a simple rule to remember. He, she, it, use has. Any singular subject, use has. For I, you, we, they, we will use have. And for plural subject, we will use have in the simple way. Now, He has a book. Possession of the subject in present. I will replace it with had. She had a pen. Possession of the subject in past. And they will have a party. Now, in this particular statement, possession of the subject in future. That subject will have ownership of this particular thing. So these are simple formulae. You can note them down. Okay, you can pause the video for some time. You can learn this thing. You can try to understand how you can understand different sentences. Just look around you guys. There is no need of any atmosphere, no need of any environment. You can learn this thing individually. Most of the people, they always worry about this particular part. What do they worry about? They always keep complaining. So I don't have environment. I don't have anyone to speak with me in English. I'm telling you this reality honestly, that when I was in 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th standard, those 4 years of my life, I had no one to speak in English with me. How did I develop this thing? I tried to understand the entire structures in my own life. I understood that how I can plan these things in my life. I used to think in my mind that yes, I understood simple future tense, how I can use it. Okay, so I will go to school tomorrow at 12 p.m. Then I will study science. I used to make these kind of sentences from my own life. Okay, and because of that, what happened with me? I understood so many things at early age, and I was able to speak in English. Same thing will happen with you if you follow all these tips and tricks. So ultimately, out of these things, I have come up with a beautiful thing that is nothing but the 4-slot technique. You will get it to know tomorrow itself. I will share the worksheet tomorrow along with the video, and you will be able to understand this thing in very simple. That is the most essential part that you will be able to understand. So as I say that you don't need atmosphere. You are the person who are going to change yourself. Okay. As I always believe in one statement, if you are looking for that one person who will change your life, just go and look yourself in front of the mirror. Who do you see? You see yourself, and you are the person who are going to change yourself. Now, if you don't need environment, for practice purpose, you can practice it on your own. And second thing, what you can simply do is you can simply apply this knowledge to speak with other people in your family, to speak with any other person in your life. If you go to a shop, why don't you say any specific statement in English? Is it too difficult to speak? Not at all. It's all about setting a priority, guys. It's very important that how you set priority. Most of the people always keep complaining about this thing, but they do not set priority. If you set the priority and start taking action, you will definitely feel wonderful, and it will be an amazing experience towards the language learning journey. Okay, so you will be able to understand these things after a few days. Don't worry about it. So this is what all about understanding to be and to have. Let's move ahead and try to understand the main verb. Now let's try to understand about main verb. We have understood enough things about helping verb, that the role of helping verb is to indicate tense in English. It may be present, past, or future. We have also understood the independent uses of to be and to have without main verb, where this helping verb will act as a main verb in the statement. No need to worry about the combination. So they are independent structures. We use them most of the time. They lie in the simple category. But now we will move on to understand the main verb that we call action. Okay. So this is the main verb that we are going to understand. Now there are always 4 forms of every single verb when we try to understand. Which are these 4 forms? V1, V2, V3, and V4. Now what is V1 form? V1 is present form, V2 is past form, V3 is perfect form, and V4 is continuous form. I have mentioned the names perfect and continuous so that it will be easier for you to understand. In terms of grammatical language, V3 is called past participle and V4 is called present participle. Okay, V4 is also called as gerund in English. So no need to go too much into the deep knowledge of English grammar. It's very simple concept. Just keep in this particular way. Okay, now there is a main verb in English. The concept of main verb, there are 4 forms of the main verb: V1, V2, V3, and V4. V1 is present form, V2 is past form, V3 is perfect, V4 is continuous form. So easy to understand. Now let's try to understand. Now, how tenses are formed in English language, you will be able to understand in just few seconds. Now, as you know, that there are 3 types of tenses: present, past, and future. And we also understand that there are 4 types of actions that we see: simple, continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous. Let's do the math. 3 into 4, it is 12. When we talk about these 12 tenses, we will first make 4 tenses in present by considering these 4 simple actions. So first is simple present, Second one is present continuous. Third one is present perfect. And fourth one is the combination of both of them, present perfect continuous. Simple thing to understand. Now what will happen for next tense? Only present part will be replaced by past, nothing else. How? Simple past, past continuous, past perfect continuous. Okay. Now let's try to understand the future forms. Simple future, future continuous, future perfect, and future perfect continuous. How easy to understand the formation of tenses in this way. Now we are clear about the names. Now we are clear about the nomenclature of 12 tenses, how they are formed. Now let's try to understand the structures and the construction of sentences in very simple way. Okay. Now let's try to understand for present tense. Now when we talk about present tense, at that time we need subject to begin the statement. Here I will use V1 and then I will end the statement with object part. Ultimately it becomes simple present. How do I come to know that it is simple present? How will I come to know? Why? Because I'm using V1 form of the verb here. Okay. Now let's try to understand present continuous. How will it be made? Obviously I need subject, then I need amizar. For what purpose? To indicate that it is present form. Okay. And I will use V4 as continuous, and then I will use object. I will end the statement and it will become present continuous, because amizar is indicating present form, V4 is indicating continuous structure. Same will happen with present perfect. How it is? Subject, I will need a helping verb to indicate that it is present. I have already used V1 form. I have already used amizar. So I will use subject to begin the statement, then has have to indicate it's a present form, and V3, and I will end the statement with object and it will become present perfect. Now here up to this you are clear. Now in order to make perfect continuous structure, what I need to do, I need to combine both of these things. Whenever I will combine, I also need to indicate that it's a perfect form, and I also need to indicate that it's a continuous form. How will I do that? Simple thing. Now you need to understand one thing very, very well. To be is the verb. It is one of the fundamental verb in English. So to be itself is V1 form. Its V1 form is amizar. Its V2 form is was, were. Its V3 form is been, B-E-E-N, been. And its V4 form is being, when to be is considered as a main verb. So I'm going to pick up that V3 form of to be to combine perfect and continuous structures. And how will it be? I will use subject, then I will use has and have, so that I can indicate that it's a present form. Then I will use been, as it is V3 form of the verb to be. So it is completed action, it is perfect form. And I also need to show that it is continuous. I will use V4 form and I will end the statement with object, and it will become present perfect continuous tense. Right? Simple thing to understand. I hope you have understood these tenses very well. You may repeat the content, you may watch the video again, and you will be able to understand this thing. Don't forget to make notes properly. Make sure that you are making the notes of this. It's very important thing. Now, try to follow the same thing for past now. Instead of present, what I will do, I will replace everything with past. When I say that I will replace present with past, what I do, I will see that I will replace V1 form with all the V2 forms. Now let's try to understand the same thing. How simple past will be made? I will use subject, then V2, then object, and it will become simple past. What was simple present? V1. Now see, past continuous, I will use subject, I will use was, were, I will use V4, I will end the statement with object, and it will become past continuous. What was the present continuous structure? It was amizar only. Let's try to understand past perfect. We will use subject, then had, then V3, then object, and it will become past perfect. In present perfect, we use has, have. In past perfect, we use had. Now in the similar way, I will also form past perfect continuous tense. I will use subject, then had, then been, then V4, and then object, and it will become past perfect continuous. How beautiful it is. How easy to understand the formation of tenses in English grammar. Most of the people worry about this particular part. Sir, how is it possible to learn in just 5 days? Guys, you have just completed 1.5 days. The half day is still completing. Okay, it is about to complete. Still you are able to gain the confidence. I can see it. And that is the importance of understanding this beautiful language. It's not difficult at all. It's all about understanding simple things. Now let's try to understand future tenses. Now simple future. So V1 is already used for simple present. V2 is already used for simple past. What is remaining? I need to understand that I will take subject, then will plus V1, and then I will use object, and it will become simple future. Now, most of the people worry about this particular part. That's why are you not telling shall? Guys, remember simple thing. Shall also is useful. We also use shall for the purpose of future indication, but there are other uses of shall also. So now we only understand that will is purely dedicated to show future aspect. So I'm using will only. Okay. Now there is nothing wrong if we use shall, but there are different things that we need to understand that we will discuss on day number 4. So for time being, just try to understand. We will use will here. So we will combine will and V1 so that it will become simple future. Future continuous. I will simply use subject, then will be, and then V4, and it will become future continuous. Okay. Now we will try to understand future perfect. We will use subject, then will have, then V3, and then object, and it becomes future perfect. Same thing that I will follow the combination of future perfect and future continuous, and it will become future perfect continuous. So I will use subject, then will have, then been, then V4, and then object, and it will become future perfect continuous. Simple thing to understand. So this is how we make all these tenses. Now there is beauty in this language that you need to understand. Now remember, we have discussed to be and to have, right? So we have understood all these things. Now try to understand, guys. First, I told you the forms of to be. Am, is, are, was, were, and will be. Now always remember, we combine forms of to be with V4 to make continuous forms. Just try to understand. Am, is, are plus V4, present continuous. Was, were plus V4, past continuous. Will be plus V4, future continuous. We combined to have with V3 to make perfect structures. Has have plus V3, present perfect. Had plus V3, past perfect. And will have plus V3, future perfect. This is what the beauty of English grammar. It's very easy, but you need to understand it in a easy way. Okay, that is the most essential part is. Now let's try to understand one statement in 12 forms. That is the most amazing thing. Now what I will do, I have taken one statement, I have made groups, first 4 in present, first 4 in next 4 in past, and next 4 in future. John plays cricket, John is playing cricket, John has played cricket, John has been playing cricket. For past, John played cricket, John was playing cricket, John had played cricket, John had been playing cricket. John will play cricket, John will be playing cricket, John will have played cricket, John will have been playing cricket. So easy to understand, simple thing to understand. Now you can take any statement and you can convert it into the 12 forms. But before that, it's not only about understanding grammatical rules. It's all about understanding the meaningful approach in your real life also. Whether the sentences that you are constructing using the structures, are they connecting with the practical approach? You need to verify whatever the sentences that you are making, are you able to connect them in your practical life? That is what you need to understand. Okay, now let's try to see that these are some common verbs in life that you need to understand. So you must be able to understand so far now that the knowledge of 4 forms of the verb is very important thing, right? So for that purpose, I have given you the bonus number 1, that is nothing but the most essential part. I have given you 2 ebooks of the verbs. First in regular forms of the verb and second one in irregular forms of the verb. Just below the link of this video, you will be able to download 2 ebooks. I have mentioned some selected and handpicked forms of the verb. You can simply go and try to understand them that yes, these are different verbs that I should know. And if you are thinking about that, so do we need to remember them? Yaad karna padega Sara? It is mandatory, guys. You don't have any other option. You should be able to understand the 4 forms of the verb carefully. And see, once you keep it in the practice, once you make it every single day, it's very simple thing that you can easily construct these sentences in order to practice. That is what the task that I'm about to give you. Okay. But before that, let's try to understand some things in your life about the practical uses of the tenses. Now, out of these 12 structures, we don't use all of them. How do we use? We use selected tenses only. So when it comes to the practical use of this particular thing, now you may be saying, so we have this knowledge, don't worry about it. We understand this thing very well. tell us how I can use this thing and how I can speak. Most of the people simply say that, sir, सिखाओ जितना जल्दी सिखा सकते सिखाओ. This is not possible, guys. You need to wait. You need to enjoy this process. You need to trust the process and just go ahead. Just enjoy this process of the 5-day bootcamp. I'm sure that you are getting lots of knowledge, but it is mandatory to follow the sequence, follow the process, and you will definitely enjoy so many things here itself. Okay. Now we don't use all the 12 structures. We hardly use 6 to 7 structures. We use 3 tenses from present, 2 tenses from past, and 1 from the future. So 3, 2, 1 that you need to understand. Let's try to understand this thing. So ultimately, these are the tenses that we use most of the time. Now here you use simple present, present continuous, and present perfect. In past, we use simple past, past continuous, and sometimes past perfect also. And in future, we use simple future most of the time. Let's try to understand all the tenses in detail one by one. Now, when we talk about simple present tense, we already know the structure now. What is it? Subject plus V1 plus object. Now, let's try to understand an important rule to understand simple present tense. Now, there is a rule that you need to understand very, very carefully. It's a very important rule. What is this? If your subject is singular, now this is only applicable to simple present tense. Make sure that this is only applicable to simple present tense. If your subject is singular or the pronouns are he, she, it, you need to use V1 with S or ES. Okay. Now, when we will use this S and ES, now it's all about the rule of the spellings. If your verb is ending with X, then we will use ES with it. For example, mix, mixes. If your verb is ending with SH, last 2 letters, then we will use ES. Wash, washes. If your verb is ending with CH, then you will use ES. Catch, catches. Then, if your verb is ending with O, there are only 2 verbs. Go, goes. Do, does. Okay. For rest of the verbs, this is not applicable. For example, if we say the verb play, you will directly use play. It will become plays. If you say the verb complete, already ES there, you will only use S, completes. But if there is a verb which is ending with Y, I will replace that Y with IES. So these are simple spelling rules. Study, studies. Try, tries. Whenever you will see the ebooks that I have attached here, you will be able to see that, yes, these are the verbs and these are the simple rules that we need to understand. So make sure whenever your subject is singular subject or the pronouns like he, she, it is mandatory to use S and ES with the verb. So here is the example for this. Ram goes to school. He goes to school. She goes to school. Clear? Simple thing. Now, if the subject is plural, okay, or the pronouns are I, you, we, they, what we need to do? We only need to use V1. No combination with S or ES. Clear this thing? See the example. Boys go to school. We go to school. They go to school. Okay. Keep this thing in your mind. You will find 90% people making mistake in this particular rule. There are so many people out there that do not understand the importance of this simple rule. What they do, sometimes they also speak. We speaks. How is it possible if there is no rule like that? So you need to understand this subject verb agreement properly. If you are making the similar kinds of mistake, be alert, be aware about it, and just correct it. You will find most of the people. Now onwards, you need to observe how many people are making mistake in this particular rule of simple present tense. Now let's try to understand the uses of simple present tense. Okay. As you know very, very well so far, the structure is subject plus V1 plus object. Now, when we talk about the practical uses, we use simple present tense for repeated actions in our life. Okay. Now let's try to understand. For example, I wake up early in the morning. This is activity. This activity gets repeated every single day. So I will use simple present. Daily routine, whatever my daily routine is, I will use simple present. And my habits. I read every day for 10 minutes. This is my habit. Okay. I read books every day. This is my habit. This is my routine. I take sessions for my students. This is my daily routine. Okay. I run the boot camp for my students. Many things are there. Now let's try to understand simple example. We learn English at 9 p.m. whatever it may be. He reads newspaper every day. It's a habit. Ram goes to school. It's a routine. Sachin speaks English. It's a fact about him. I wake up every day at 5 a.m. My father goes to work every day. So every single time. Now here you need to note one thing. Whatever the things that happen in your life, you need to focus on them. You need to understand these are the repeated actions. If you are a mother, you can easily understand. I feed my baby every day at 10 a.m. Simple thing to understand. If you are a teacher, you may say, I teach my students every day. That is the simple thing that you can relate to your work. If you are working in IT industry, I do the programming on different projects, whatever it may be. It's all about your way of understanding. If you are a lawyer, you can simply say that I defend the case. It's all about your area of expertise. You are the master of your own field. I don't need to tell anything about it. If you are a manager, I manage so many things my entire day. As I'm a trainer, I train so many people in my life. So there are so many things. You are the best person to find out these sentences and apply this knowledge in your life. That is the beauty of understanding the practical uses of tenses. Okay. Now, every single time you need to understand the use, and you also need to understand the structure. If you are serious about improving your communication and English grammar, this is the best thing. Try to understand the grammatical part, know its meaning, and just make the statement and speak in your life. You will see the different level of confidence right now. That is the beauty of understanding these things. That is what I have done in my life. And that's why I always believe having knowledge is not important, guys. It's all about applying this knowledge in your life. Okay. Let's try to understand the other part of this particular tense here itself. Now, technical terms, scientific truths, and general facts. We use this particular tense most of the time. Not most of the time, every time. If you want to say anything about general truth, if you want to say anything about any scientific fact, you will use this particular tense. Now, I will tell you one interesting fact. Whatever the answers that you have written in your examination, just remember, just pause the video for some time. Try to remember all the technical concepts of your own field. Try to see different rules. Try to see different instructions. You will always find all of them in simple present only. Isn't it? Just pause the video for some time. Think about it. Think about your own field. Think about your own profession. Try to understand the technical knowledge. You already have technical knowledge. Try to understand and try to think all these things. Imagine that I'm explaining something to anyone. You will find that you will always use subject plus am-is-are plus object, subject plus has-have plus object, the structures of there is and there are, simple present tense with main verb. You will not use any other structures. Let's look at some examples. Milk is white. Yes, it's a fact. Water is colorless. Yes, it's a scientific truth. There are 7 colors in the rainbow. It's a fact again. The sun rises in the east. Yes. 2 comes after 1. Simple things to understand, isn't it? Try to understand this use and apply the knowledge wherever it is possible. Okay. Don't forget to understand the rule, subject plus V1 plus object, and the important rule that I have explained already. Now, next use of simple present tense, proverbs and idioms. Now, most of the time people say good thoughts. People tell you about their own thoughts, and they also tell you about some good suggestions or proverbs or idioms. We simply use simple present tense. How beautiful simple present tense is. Try to understand this thing. An apple a day keeps doctor away. Simple thing. Unity is strength. Health is wealth. Health is wealth. Actions speak louder than words. All that glitters is not gold. Simple thing to understand. So it is essential to use simple present tense in this way. If you see some good thoughts, they are all written in simple present tense. Okay. Now, next thing about simple present tense is all about understanding this wonderful structure, near future. What I do here, I use simple present tense in a different way. So the structure is a little bit different. Subject plus want to plus V1 plus object. When I use this structure at that time, it's a very simple thing. Let's look at some examples. I want to learn English. Now, want to is something that is your desire that you are expressing. And then you are using V1 form. What is this V1 form? It is an infinitive. 2 plus V1 is called infinitive in English. And V1 plus ing, it is called gerund in English. So these are 2 non-finite verbs that we need to understand in English. 2 plus V1 and V1 plus ing. Both of them are used in the object part most of the time. So here we will use 2 plus V1. So the structure is simple. Want to plus V1. The same rule will be applicable. If there is a subject which is singular or he, she, it, I will use S with want. Now see, he wants to eat samosa. Then Sachin wants to play chess. They want to visit the company. Now here we are talking about the desire. And when we talk about desire at that time, it's all about understanding the near future, which is about to happen. I want to tell you something amazing today. I want to go to market and bring some vegetables. So we use these structures most of the time. I want to feed my baby. Okay. I want to work on this project. I want to deliver a presentation tomorrow in my company. I want to do the analysis of upcoming project. I want to teach my children. There are so many things that you do every single time. You simply need to identify those activities and you need to use the structure. And which are the pronouns that we use? Most of the time we initiate communication from ourselves. So you can use subject most of the time to make this kind of sentences. Okay. Now, next thing that you need to understand, that is present continuous tense. When we talk about present continuous tense, this is the structure that we have understood very well, that amizar is indicating present and before is indicating continuous form. Let's try to understand the uses of present continuous tense. Now, the first use is any action that is going on at this specific moment. There we use simple present tense. Now, let's try to understand. Pause the video, look around yourself and see what are the activities that are going on. You will be able to see the practical application of present right now at this moment. Let's try to understand some examples. Our team is working hard on the project. There is the team. Okay, the team is sitting over there and the team is working hard. I'm studying now. If someone comes to you and if they ask you, what are you doing? Tell me. You will quickly answer them. I'm studying now. Don't disturb me. Ram is going to school. There is a boy whose name is Ram. He's going to school. Sachin is doing his work. We are cooking biryani. They are going to market. So simple things that you need to understand here itself, which will say that any action that is indicated as continuous activity that is going on at a specific moment in present, a general structure that you need to understand. This is the most general use. Okay. And most of the time we have this habit of asking question to people. What are you doing? He or she will answer you. If they ask you this question, you will simply answer them. Well, I'm reading a book. I'm going to the market. I'm going to this, I'm going to that, whatever it may be. You're simply trying to understand these things in simple way. This is the most essential thing that you need to understand. Now, this is this general use of present continuous tense. Now, let's try to understand other thing. That is nothing but the same tense that we will use for other purpose. That is nothing but a longer action that is in progress now. Okay. Now see, try to understand this thing. I'm trying to develop a program since 2 years. Now I'm working on a project. The project is already started. I'm still working on this thing. So this is a longer action that is going on. And for that purpose, I'm using present continuous tense. Ram is reading a novel since last month. So he has already started reading the novel. He is still reading it. Now, most of the time we simply ask, what is going on nowadays? If someone asks you this question, or you also ask this question, you ask this question most of the time in your native language, isn't it? You do not even take care of English language. You do not even give priority to English most of the time. So it's all about setting a right priority if you want to learn English and if you want to improve your spoken English. Now, if you ask this question, what is going on nowadays? Now the person will reply you in present continuous tense, but he means that the action is not going on at that specific moment. The action that is going on since long time, it's a longer action that is in progress. He will say, well, actually, I'm looking for a job nowadays. Well, I started working on a project and I'm just working on the same project. Nothing extra that is going on in my life, nothing special. Okay. So this is what the importance of using present continuous tense, but for a different purpose. Sachin is doing his work since morning. He has started, it is still continuous. She is preparing a speech since yesterday. She has started preparing the speech. She is still preparing. It is not finished. We are working on a project since 1 year. We have started working on the project. It is still continuous and not finished. So this is the beauty of present continuous tense. And that's why we do not need to use present perfect continuous tense. Though I can use present continuous tense for the same time, but I say that why to make it complicated? Let's keep it simple and easy so that people will be able to understand. It will be more effective if you say in simple words, isn't it? Language is made for communication, not to complication. Okay? Language is made for the communication purpose and not for the purpose of complication. So it should be simple thing to understand. So yes, you can use present perfect continuous tense also. Like see the example. I am trying to develop a program since 2 years. I have been trying to develop a program since last 2 years. It's okay to say, but it is more convenient and more simple to say in this way. There is nothing wrong in that. Okay. Now let's try to understand other use of present continuous tense. Okay. Near future by mentioning the time. Now here is a beauty of understanding this thing. The structure is same, but I'm only using a specific time frame, a specific time span in the object of the statement, and it becomes an activity in future. I'm studying science on this Sunday. So if I want to say that I'm studying science on Sunday, what I will do, I'm doing this activity when? On Sunday, not right now. Ram is reading a novel in next week. What is he doing next week? He is reading a novel next week. Sachin is doing his work tomorrow. What Sachin is doing? He is doing his work tomorrow. He is not free. If you are thinking that Sachin is free and you will go for a movie with Sachin, it is not possible because Sachin is doing his work tomorrow. I'm visiting a temple in the evening. Do you want to come with me? I'm visiting a temple in the evening. We are planning for a meeting after 2 days. So I haven't met my friend since long. So we are planning to meet each other in the evening. So when we simply add this extra part of this particular time, you will be able to say that it's an action which will happen in future. So beautiful thing about the use of present continuous. Now let's try to understand one more thing about present continuous tense. Okay. Now let's try to understand this thing. Here the structure is little modified. When I use this structure at that time, I'm using am is are to represent the present tense. Then I'm using going to, which is indicating the continuous action. But I'm again using V1. So this 2 plus V1 is also an infinitive form. But try to understand, this is a definite action. If I say this statement, I'm going to watch movie this Sunday. If I'm telling about this thing using going to plus V1, then it is definite action. No matter, it will happen for sure. For example, Siddhi, you must have watched Tanaji movie. Tanaji is going to attack the Mughals. Now it is completely decided. The plan is ready and Tanaji is going to attack the Mughals. You must have watched Bahubali movie also. It's a very famous movie. Okay. You will be able to see this thing. What Bahubali says, you must be able to remember that scene where that Kalke or someone, a villain, he kills most of the people, most of the fighters in Bahubali's army. What happens at that time? Bahubali comes up with lots of courage on the horse, and what he says all of the people that I'm going to save my motherland. So this is definite action that he has decided, and anyway he's going to do that thing. I'm going to save my motherland. So this is what the structure that you need to understand. So let's try to understand this thing. My mom is going to cook biryani. Now I am very sure that anyhow she is going to cook biryani only. There is no change in the plan. Dr. Jagtap is going to purchase a new car. Now there is a person whose name is Dr. Jagtap. He has decided that he was planning to purchase a car since long time, and now it is confirmed, and now he is going to do that activity. Mahesh is going to become a bank officer. Now there is someone whose name is Mahesh. He is too determined that he is going to become a bank officer. That is why he can say this particular statement. So this is what the most useful tense that you need to understand. That is nothing but definite action in the future. Now what I'm telling you, you are going to understand English grammar properly in your life. I know that this is definitely going to happen in upcoming days. Okay. Now let's try to understand present perfect tense. Now, in order to understand present perfect, has have is indicating present and V3 is indicating perfect action. That's why combinedly it is present perfect. Now, most of the people have confusion about uses of present perfect tense. Now look at this particular thing very well. Okay. Any action that is completed in the past and its effect is observed in present. Now try to understand this thing. Any action that is completed in the past at any specific moment, and you are connecting that particular activity with certain impact or effect in present, we will use present perfect. For example, I have completed engineering. I'm talking about an activity that is completed in the past, but still I have the degree with me. I have that certificate. That's why I'm an engineer today. That is what you say. When you introduce yourself and you simply tell about your educational qualifications, you proudly say, I have completed MBA in finance. I have completed MBA in marketing. When you tell this particular qualification, why do you use present perfect? Because the action of completing your graduation is completed in the past. You are impacting, you are just connecting. You are showing the effect is still there. That is why you are using present perfect tense. Let's try to understand some examples. We have finished our dinner at 9 p.m. Now this activity is done at this specific moment, and that's why you are saying that yes, we have finished our dinner and we are not ready to eat anything as we have finished our dinner. So the action is completed and the effect is still observed that my tummy is full. I'm not able to eat anything now. If you would have asked me before my lunch or before my dinner, I would have eaten something. So that's why action is completed in the past and its effect is still observed in present. This is the beauty of present perfect tense. You need to understand it practically very, very well. And you need to find out some sentences from your own real life and use them in your real life. It will give you more clarity about this tense. Now, he has read the wings of fire. If I say that he has read the wings of fire, then I'm sure that he knows everything. The action of reading is completed and the knowledge is still there. That's why present perfect tense. Ram has gone to school. That's why he's not here. Sachin has taken the project last week. That's why we cannot assign project to Sachin, as he already has the project. So Sachin is occupied now. We cannot assign project to him. I have done my project work. So you can assign the project to. My friend has given me a nice gift, and I still have that feeling that my friend has given me a nice gift. This is about understanding present perfect tense. Okay. Now let's try to understand simple past tense. Now simple past tense is just a general tense which indicates any activity that is completed in the past at any specific moment. Don't even worry too much about it, as there is a difference between present perfect and simple past. There is one similarity and there is one difference. Similarity is action is completed. Difference is effect is observed in case of present perfect. There is nothing to think about effect in simple past. So structure is very simple. Subject plus V2 plus object. We just finished our dinner. Simple thing to understand. We read the newspaper. Ram went to school. Sachin took a cup of tea. I did my project work yesterday. My brother gave me a nice gift. Similar sentences, but in simple past. So any action that we do in past at any specific moment, we will use simple past. I attended the session yesterday. Simple thing to understand. Now, when we talk about past continuous at that time, we only know one specific thing, that is nothing but was plus V4, were plus V4. There in present continuous, we use am is are plus V4. Now, any action that was continuous at any specific moment, we use past continuous. Nothing is to think too much about it. It's a simple structure to use. I was studying Python. What I was doing yesterday, I was studying Python. Sachin was doing his work. She was going to the market. We were watching the movie. They were trying to solve the issue. Simple sentences. Whatever the activity that was going on at any specific moment in past, we will use past continuous tense. Okay. Now, let's try to understand past perfect. Now, let's try to understand past perfect tense. So far, you must have realized that we use present forms most of the time. Okay. Now, past perfect is nothing but had plus V3, where had indicates past and V3 indicates perfect. So it is past perfect tense. Now, one similarity and one difference. What is similarity? Action is completed. What is the difference? Its effect is observed at that moment in past. Okay. So present perfect, action is completed, effect is observed in present. Simple past, action is completed. Past perfect, action is completed and its effect is observed at any specific moment in past. Now see the examples. We had finished our dinner at 9 p.m. So if you ask me, why didn't you come with us to have a cup of tea yesterday? What I will say, well, actually I had finished my dinner at 9 p.m. You should have contacted me before 9 p.m. I would have definitely enjoyed a cup of tea with you. But as my action was completed and its effect was still observed, I was not able to do that. We had read the wings of fire. Ram had gone to school. So if you see that, why Ram didn't attend the session? Because Ram had gone to school. The action of going to school was completed, and that is why he was not there in the session. Sachin had taken the project last week. Now, if you ask, Sachin, why didn't you take the project? Could you please tell me the reason? What Sachin will tell? Sachin will tell, sir, I already had taken the project. I was occupied. So the action of taking the project was completed. Its effect was observed, and that is why you use past perfect tense. Okay. So it is completely opposite of present perfect tense. And similar way, you can understand this example. I had done my project work. My dad had given me a nice gift. Now I'm talking about a situation where my dad had given the gift. It was effective at that particular moment. Okay. This is all about understanding past perfect tense. Now, last one, but not least, simple future. We use will plus V1. When we talk about this structure, we say any action that will happen at certain moment in future, we will use simple future. I will see you tomorrow. I will meet you in the live session on day 4. I will see you in the live master class on day 5. Any action that will happen at specific moment in future. So simple to understand. We will attend the session tomorrow. He will read the newspaper. Ram will go to the office. Sachin will take a leave for 2 days. I will submit my project work next week. She will give me a nice task. Simple things to understand. Any action that happens in future, you simply need to use in your life according to that thing. Okay. You have understood so many things here. Now it is time to understand the beauty of application of this knowledge in your life. So go make some notes, try to revise this thing, watch this session again, make sure that you are making some important notes and you are also trying to make some sentences, and not only making the sentences, you are also trying to speak these sentences. Okay, now it's time to go for some task. Go through the ebooks, try to find out the useful verbs and try to use the 12 forms of the tenses with them. Try to practice it and it will definitely help you to understand in simple way. Task 1 is nothing but you need to make a list of the most useful verbs in your life. Practice 12 forms of the sentences. Try to identify. If you speak those sentences, it will help you to improve your confidence, and it will also help you that, yes, if I can make this 12 sentences, I can master tenses easily. I can practice them easily. So instead of just making the 12 sentences, you need to speak them also so that you will be able to gain the confidence. Task number 2 is very simple. You need to share your experience about this session. How did you feel about this session? Were you able to understand the importance of understanding tenses and the formation of tenses in English grammar? So I'm waiting to know how was your experience. Now, task number 3, it's very simple thing. You need to post this message. I will master the tenses in English grammar and I will practice every day. It is very important thing. If you master the tenses, then you have mastered the most essential skill. That is nothing but the soul of English grammar. Okay. So that's it for the day, guys. Make sure that you are making the notes and try to understand this thing in your life. That's it for the day. Thank you for watching. We will definitely see tomorrow in the tomorrow's day 3 session, which is going to be something amazing. Thank you for watching. Have a great day ahead. Keep learning, keep growing.